Syrian television industry, really big for the Levant.
Extremely, extremely prevalent in this part of the world. I don't think that there's very many people that we work with that don't have very, very fond connections to Syrian, particularly dramas and soap operas that have been made kind of historically. And now those sanctions have been lifted, and so we are already seeing an uptick within the Syrian television industry.
And they were very famous for making these kind of historical dramas. So this was the backbone of Syrian television. Their most famous one was Bab al-Hara, a drama based upon a community. This was so huge when I was living in Syria still that we'd have to get to the coffee shop early, because in all the shisha cafes, all the coffee shops, everywhere that you'd go, instead of having the football showing, they would have Bab al-Hara showing. Hello everyone, today we are going to be speaking about TeamLab and Manarat Saadiyat.
And Syrian television's comeback now that sanctions are easing.
This is Culture Bites, brought to you by Abu Dhabi Culture. I'm Enas Refaei.
And I'm Farah Andrews. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am very well. I have made a very big purchase this week.
Tell us. Update us.
So we all know that I was planning my midlife crisis recently.
Yeah.
So we may have gone to a music shop. Now, did I buy the drum kit? No, I did not. Because I sat at a drum kit and I realised I've forgotten everything about holding a beat. So it needs a bit more practice. But I bought a piano.
She's gone more melodic.
Which is lovely. I'm hoping, obviously, we all dream of our children becoming
a prodigy.
A prodigy of some sort, of something, And we're just going to keep throwing things at them until something sticks. I also, actually, mainly why I bought it is because of the joy of music. I get so much joy from music, and I did as a teenager, as a terrible percussionist. And I just felt like I want to have that for my children. Did you play any instruments growing up?
Piano.
See?
Yeah, my brother played guitar and I played piano.
Really? You could have had a little band.
That would have involved me and Craig being too logistically. No.
You could have been the Haim of Dubai.
If only.
You could have been the Hanson of the hills.
Sorry, needed a Hanson. No. We did not work together in that way. My brother is one of those people, he has a musical ear completely, and he can listen to a song and then play it immediately.
Oh.
Which I'm wildly jealous of. I can read music, but I can't see. I can't just hear it and then play it.
You have the most epic superpower of all superpowers, that you can fall asleep on a plane and anywhere.
Oh, I can't. Yeah.
So you can't have it all, Farah.
I can't have too many superpowers. I know. I know.
You can't be that person. You've got to leave something for the rest of us.
So Craig has the superpower that he can just. Yeah, I'm always. Even this, we're going off on a tangent, but his sons, they're very little, 1 and 3. They have the little xylophones around the house, and Craig can just pick up the stick, and if he wants to play a song, he can just start bashing out on that mini xylophone.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Have you seen there's a woman that I saw on TikTok a long time ago that she had all of the kind of baby instruments and she played a drum and bass beat?
I'm going to find out if Craig can do it.
It's very jealous of those people.
Go and pick up Arlo's little electric guitar that I bought him for his birthday. Craig knows you were thrilled.
So we are talking today TeamLab Phenomena.
You have been.
Yes. I went yesterday.
As promised, during the summer. Perfect summer activity.
During the summer. So I think, and I'll get on to my recommendations, another summer activity to do inside. So I have 2 young children, as we know, and I'm always looking for something that's cultural or just taking them into a new space, which isn't necessarily a mall. Although I do love a mall, just trying to get them into different spaces. And TeamLab is here in Abu Dhabi, which is such a treat.
Amazing. So for the uninitiated, what is TeamLab?
Okay, I did some research. So it's a Japanese art collective that was founded in 2001 and by 2 founders, Toshiyuki Inoko and Shunsake Aoki. And they were both students at the University of Tokyo. Now, originally, it was about bringing together different aspects of kind of different aspects, but all the different parts that make up an art installation, something that's artistic. So they were engineers, they were animators, mathematicians, architects, bringing all of those people together from the University of Tokyo and then setting the scene for an immersive art experience.
So that's the key, isn't it? It's very multidisciplinary, but it's also incredibly, the word you used, immersive.
Immersive.
So how does that translate in the space?
So how does it translate? First of all, the building is incredible. So they have built a special spot on Saadiyat Island, which, as we know, is the kind of art cultural district for Abu Dhabi. And it's 17,000 square metre multi-sensory space. Okay. When you go in, you're told that there's a dry area and a wet area.
Did you go to the wet area?
You go to both. And
Do
it
you
was
have
incredible. You don't have to. And what's interesting is you're kind of funneled into these dark tunnels with lots and lots of different art installations, some that also react to you. So my children were like brushing a wall and realising that the butterflies and the flowers were moving around their hands.
Does it feel like it follows like a journey or a theme, or does it all feel quite random from room to room?
I would say that the rooms all feel connected in some way. This idea of light and space and sound coming together. Some feel more arty than others.
How does that translate? Like, is it like, because it's different to like the Museum of Digital Art in Dubai,
Yes.
where that is, you'll have like a digital version of Van Gogh.
Yeah, this is
So
not
it's
that.
not like that.
No, this is very much art installations that have been made by TeamLab often. So by TeamLab, they're made by TeamLab, which is this collective from Tokyo University, and they are then pulled into these different rooms. So I'll give you an example of one that I found really fascinating, which was one room was called the Levitation Void. Okay. And I don't even know how to describe this. Did you ever get to the turbine room installation, The Weather Project, by Olafur Eliasson? So this was an incredible installation. I think it was a long time ago. I think it was like 2007, 2006.
In this country or in the UK?
In Tate Modern. And this piece that's now in TeamLab in Abu Dhabi, the Levitation Void, gave me a similar sense. It was imagine you walk into a room which is mirrored top to bottom, okay? So the ceiling is a mirror. The floor is a mirror. You have to take your shoes off for this room. The floor is a mirror. The room is circular. And in the middle of the room is this black spot. And the black spot is giant. It's, I would say, about 2 stories high. And the black spot feels like
spot gives me like 2D, or is it like
it's standing up.
Like
it's a big standing up disc.
Okay.
That feels like it's following you around the room.
Okay.
Now, were my children terrified of this? Yes, 110%. However, the kind of experience of you're in the space in a multi-dimensional space in some ways, because you have the mirrors on the floor, the mirrors on the ceiling, the mirrors on the wall. You're so connected to everybody else in that space. This was one art in space that really felt like it was an artistic kind of like stamp on this experience. Other rooms felt very much, as you described, like the kind of like you're overwhelmed, you're in a space. So one space which my children adore, absolutely adore, which is you walk into a space which is all kind of like, there's lots of, like almost Teletubby hills. And you're walking on these soft Teletubby hills, and there's these like creatures and plants all like floating around that kind of react to your movement and react if you stepped on one, or react in a different way. And then you find that all of these creatures seem to be emerging from the same location. Yeah. You go into that location and there's a room for colouring in. And it's everybody in the art gallery are colouring in drawings, and then those are being scanned and kind of like unleashed into the space. So I drew a crocodile, and the crocodile was like unleashed, and I drew a big, stripe on its back, a zigzag stripe. So you could see the crocodile like unleashed, and like I saw this girl. I mean, she kept stepping on him.
How rude.
I know. I was like, why are you keep stepping on my crocodile? But she was stepping on the crocodile, and the crocodile was kind of obviously reacting. And then eventually the crocodile scurried off on top of the ceiling.
So it's like you create like the animations in the space.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing.
So the whole thing, and then we have the wet space, which I just feel...
How wet do you get?
Oh, it's knee deep. Yes, it's quite thrilling.
What if you're a Emirati woman wearing an abaya?
Like, I have to admit, I don't know. I did see some women who just hiked up there, you know, or maybe they chose not to go there. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's very interesting. It's very multisensory. It's fantastic for children. It's great to get them talking about, I think, like how art can be so engaging.
I guess a very, very good introduction to art and like these kind of like art spaces as well.
Yeah, and there's obviously nods. Like I said, like as somebody who's such a I'm a big art fan, and I did feel like there were little nods to different artists. So I could kind of see where inspiration had come from. That, you know, felt that it was engaging for all ages.
Amazing.
And all different interests.
So there are TeamLabs around the world. Obviously, they began in Tokyo. It was born. The concept was born in Tokyo, but there are TeamLabs in Saudi Arabia, China, the US, and also the Netherlands. So it's becoming a pretty global phenomenon, which is fun because the one here is called TeamLab Phenomena.
Hey, it's in the world record as well. It's got the Guinness World Record for the highest attendance of an art museum. Isn't that great?
Is that true?
Yes, it is.
Not
Well,
the Louvre.
according to Google.
I feel like I've written so many times about the fact that Louvre Paris is the most visited museum in the world.
Maybe highest attendance. Maybe it's the world record.
There's always wording.
Maybe there's
something.
Something. Maybe they did something to me there. But anyway, I would suggest, if you are, you know, and I would say I think you can go around the whole space. So it's on Saadiyat Island, which is beautiful. The building, really lovely design, really striking. Almost blindingly white, and inside is very, very dark. So it's kind of fun contrast. And everything's quite muffled, like the sounds. It doesn't feel like loud. They've somehow managed to like dilute the sound of the children, which I think was really good. So
does the space? So we say it's multisensory. Does the space have sound as well? Like are the rooms producing sound?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, just depends on the
where
theme of the room. Yeah, where you are.
Is it something you could do more than once and get something different from it? Or is
Yes.
it? Okay.
So I went with my children and they found that they have been before with their father.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, with their father. It's their second time.
They're frequent flyers.
They're frequent flyers. And I was very jealous because you can imagine I was gutted. But
I want to go.
They went, and they said that they didn't see all of the rooms last time. So they saw more rooms this time and we missed some.
Oh, okay. So
there's more.
Plenty to do.
There's plenty to do. It's quite a fair price. I think it was like 50 dirhams for a kid, and under a certain age is completely free. So I think it's like a fair price for what you're getting. A good 2-3 hours, and the children have had a great experience, learned something new.
Culturally immersed, AC, safe, fun.
Exactly.
Perfect for the summer.
Hey.
Welcome back. We are going to talk about the Syrian television industry.
Which... Huge.
that wasn't a punchline.
I don't know.
But thank you.
We're going to talk about something. No, Syrian television industry, really big for the Levant.
Extremely, extremely prevalent in this part of the world. I don't think that there's very many people that we work with that don't have very, very fond connections to Syrian, particularly dramas and soap operas that have been made kind of historically. And I know that during Ramadan, they are the kind of nightly go-to for so many people where families gather around TV and kind of make it a bit of a ritual during the holy month.
Let me tell you.
I'm going to need you to in a moment. So in the past few weeks, there's been a lot of change within the Syrian television industry as sanctions have been lifted in Syria. So there are series that have been dormant, and the industry has kind of been wildly neglected because of sanctions. And so there's like been so much less kind of international work within the Syrian television industry. And now those sanctions have been lifted. And so we are already seeing an uptick within the Syrian television industry. So I think,
it's really exciting. So I'm just going to talk about my time in Damascus.
Oh, please do.
So I was living in Damascus from 2006, 7. And it was a huge part of the culture there. Very interesting roots in Syria. Obviously was taken over by the Ottoman Empire at one point. We had the French, the Brits. Everyone was there. And they were very famous for making these kind of historical dramas. So this was the backbone of Syrian television. Their most famous one was Bab al-Hara. Okay. So it's a old Syrian. It's set in like old Syria. It's the idea of like the door of the neighborhood, the door of the door of the neighborhood. I don't know how to describe it actually, because Bab in Syria, in Damascus, it is gate as well as like a door in. So it's the gate of the neighborhood. And in Damascus itself, you have.
Could it be more conceptual as well, like into the neighborhood?
Probs. I mean, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Let us not dwell.
Let's not dwell. But Bab al-Hara was set in this kind of like old town Damascus, and it was all about the kind of goings on in the neighborhood. Like there was laughter there. Imagine an EastEnders or a Coronation Street or a Bold and the Beautiful, if you will, if you're from this region. Do you know that? No, that was very big here. That like kind of like a drama based upon like, a community. This was so huge when I was living in Syria still that we'd have to get to the coffee shop early, because in all the shisha cafes, all the coffee shops, everywhere that you'd go, instead of having the football showing, they would have Bab al-Hara showing. Yes.
Oh, I love that. Let me tell you, I would go out to watch it. I would love that.
Isn't that lovely? And I think there's something about that kind of collective television watching, which is so prevalent in the Middle East, which I think is kind of like, unless it's sport in the West, I think people in the West probably don't understand it, but we love going to a coffee shop to watch television together.
I mean, I'm all in.
Yes. I'm so glad. I'll take you. Now we can go down
we'll go.
there.
I just need subtitles.
We can go down to Bab Tuma, which is where I used to live.
Ah, beautiful.
Yeah.
With subtitles?
Thomas. No.
Okay.
But it was very good for the Arabic.
So, on the news of recent weeks.
Yes.
A major deal has been signed within the Syrian television industry with Qatari company Al Maha International, and they are going to build the City of Damascus Gate, which is going to be a media entertainment space complex which has the kind of aim of re-establishing Syrian TV, which is huge. And they're looking at more, I think it's enormous for the industry, but also for the country in general. It's expecting to generate about 13,000 jobs.
Incredible.
And attract Arab networks and filmmakers kind of to start telling these stories.
And hopefully attract the people who've left. Because a lot of the producers, actors, they all left during the war. And what has been really sad is that those people are hugely talented, and they've kind of like been plucked away from their network. As we work in the media, we know how important a network is. I can't imagine how it feels for those actors to have moved away. During the time that they've been moved away, they have been obviously working on other projects. There was a lovely Radio 4 play actually made by some Syrian actors.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in English. I'll send it to you.
Please do.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly the point I was going to make. The stories that are kind of, we have seen time and time and time again that English is no longer a default language for global television, and that people, where historically we thought people just weren't interested in international foreign content, people watch pretty much all, generationally, subtitles are a standard, whether you're watching it in your native language or you're watching it in a second language or you're watching it dubbed. People are still watching content with subtitles. I'm a sucker for it. I love a subtitle.
Me too.
And it has kind of made language irrelevant it's language takes second precedent now to the story. And that those incredible stories are coming out of every corner of the globe. There's no longer a default Western bias on them. The entire world is being shaped culturally at the moment by East Asian content, with Japanese and Korean taking over. The cultural moment coming out of that part of the world is incredible. And we're seeing it with Arabic language television in this part of the world, with Netflix is making incredible Arabic language content that is being watched everywhere. I mean, dramas, but also reality TV.
Love.
Do we have to go back to Love is Blind, Habibi? And then platforms like Shahid, where they are, because they're just expanding their Arabic content. And so there is just going to be, I think, a very, very exciting boost in the TV industry in this part of the world in the coming year. There's a couple of experts that we spoke to that basically said that Ramadan 2026 is going to be huge, but it's also going to be such an important litmus test for the Syrian TV industry. We know that they leave it quite late to announce all of this content, so they've got time. We aren't too late for an incredible Ramadan 2026 of television, and it is, I think we can look to it being a bit of a comeback moment for the Syrian TV industry.
How exciting. It's incredibly exciting. And if you would like to know more about this, then on the National's website, we have a piece by our fantastic freelancer reporter, Danny Mackey, who's been in Syria for so long, and now he's going to write about this new emergence of art and culture, which is really exciting.
He has been a long-time contributor for us, telling beautiful cultural stories out of Damascus, whether they are about the entertainment industry, pop culture. He's spoken about nightclubs, comedy, and I've also commissioned him for pieces on the ritual of soap making and things. He's brilliant.
Yeah, he is a great reporter. So thank you, Danny. Okay, shall we go on to recommendations?
Yes, what do you have to recommend to me, please?
Well, let me tell you. So obviously I've been on my little art. I mean, to be honest, this could be another school trip for us if you wanted, because I could recommend it now, but we could also do a little school trip. So Manarat Al Saadiyat, which if you haven't been, is a kind of a big art space. There's a restaurant there. There's a cafe there.
It's a cultural space.
It's a cultural space. There's also, again, going back to if you're looking to help children during the summer break and you're still here, I'm still here for a few more weeks before we go to the UK, and 30 dirhams for kids to drop in and use anything in the art space there.
What do you mean?
It's incredible. So they have an art school in Manarat Saadiyat, and you can go there and you can use anything. There's pottery, there's canvases, there's lino. Do you want to do some lino cutting? You just go there and you can just use anything.
And it's 30 dirhams.
And it's 30 dirham from kids. And actually for the kids, they've got these little stations so they can go around, self-guided stations, and learn about a different art technique, sometimes copied from an artist, a famous artist, and sometimes not.
Are adults able to go also?
Yes. They have
much do
adult
they charge
droplets.
us?
I think it's 70 for adults.
Yeah,
and adults, you get to do
fair.
pottery. But it's a bit of an extra cost for the pottery. But
Did you do
get some
pottery?
things. May have. I know, very exciting.
Good thing so we went to Manarat Al Saadiyat a few weeks ago to see the Abu Dhabi Collections exhibition, and to see the artworks that are on show there is free.
Yes.
So it can be such an affordable family day out.
So affordable. At the moment, they have Spectrum Cartographers Revisited, which is an exhibition of photos by Abu Dhabi artists or artists that are based in Abu Dhabi. I would like to point you and everybody else to Farah El-Kaabi, who is a photographer who's done a series on Abu Dhabi doors.
Oh, love.
I love an Abu Dhabi door. I love an arabesque door. So, and some of them are that grand at all, but they have a charm. Get to Manarat Saadiyat.
Well, I will. I will go down again for the second time in about a month, but I would like to go down a lot because I like that space. My recommendation is different. It is a book or an audiobook called Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Are you familiar with Andy Weir?
No.
He wrote The Martian. You are familiar.
I'm familiar with The Martian. It was turned into a film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
So Project Hail Mary is also being turned into a film. It is going to star Ryan Gosling. If you are going to read this book, this is my notice. Do not watch the trailer.
Ooh.
Do not watch the trailer. Because the way the book unfolds is kind of like there are 2 timelines and you are really learning what on earth is happening as you go. Because you start the book with a kind of lone person who doesn't know where they are and what is happening.
Yeah.
And then you start remembering with that character.
Wow.
And
Trailer ruins
so
it.
the trailer, I think obviously the way it plays out in a film will be amazing.
Yeah.
But it will be a very different experience to learning it with the book because they aren't going to be able to play the film like that. And they certainly can't play a trailer like it. I have got like 1 chapter left. I'm listening to an audiobook. I have devoured it. I'm so not a sci-fi person usually, and I have absolutely loved it. I have not been able to get enough of it. There have been so many chapters I've gone back and listened to again just because I liked it so much.
Wow.
And the audiobook...
You are not a sci-fi girly.
I'm not a sci-fi girly. The audiobook is read so brilliantly. I wish I had written down the person's name who wrote it, who is reading it, because they are such... It is a performance.
Fabulous.
In my head, it's Tom Hanks because he does sound a lot like him, but I know it's not. But yeah, do not... I don't really want to say much about it because it's all spoilers.
Just leave it. Just leave it as that.
Sci-fi, space, amazingness.
Okay.
Go for it.
Well,
yeah.
That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening. This episode has been brought to you by Abu Dhabi Culture. Be sure to find us on all your favourite podcasting apps.
And you can watch us on YouTube on the National News Channel. And be sure to follow The National on Instagram on @TheNationalArts and catch new episodes of Culture Bites every Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.